Hello, 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 my buttlets. This is Gabby back at it again with another review, this time for episode 10 of the 18th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It had the right amounts of ups and downs and cliffhangers and payoffs. So let's just get into it, shall we? Let me start with the reading challenge. I'm not surprised that Mikey won that. I mean, she really is an overall well-rounded drag queen, but she's not obnoxious. You would think that somebody with like her skills on the runway, makeup, acting, musicals, girl group challenges, just interacting with the queens, like she knows she's so good at this and she has an actual shot at winning the crown. But I don't think that she's too much. She's palpable. So I really enjoy Mikey, her progression, and she's definitely going to the finale unless something happens. So congrats on her first mini challenge win. And I suspect they've been doing these mini challenges all along, but you guys, my last producing job taught me that you can have hundreds of hours of great footage, but you have 44 minutes, 41 to 44 minutes of actual content that you have to fill, and you have to be ruthless in what you turn in before like an episode ever can be done. Producers will string out, which is basically like lay out the basics of a scene, like this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end, and then an editor takes it and makes it pretty and faster and clearer and more palpable. But yeah, it's the story producers, we have to do the heavy lifting of editing and turning episodes into something fun. So just keep that in mind. They've been shooting these minis, but we haven't been seeing them because of time. For all that personality, I was shocked that Kenya did not do well in the reading challenge. And Juicy, poor Juicy, poor Juicy. Like, y'all, I think that we are so enamored with her dancing skills and her beauty that sometimes maybe I've neglected that there were other areas that she's still developing in, specifically acting and improv and reading. Next week is the roast, and I am praying, praying, praying that it is not Kenya or Juicy that ends up in the bottom and goes home. Like, I really like these girls, and it makes me really happy to see a queen overcome something that was a weakness for them. It just makes the show so much better. So I'm rooting for Kenya and Juicy, and I hope they get it together next week. Okay, so RuPaul's already given the prompt for what the maxi challenge is. The dolls have to go through the quote unquote luggage or leftover garments that the seven eliminated queens have left behind. So let's track these people's progression. Um, eh, we focus on four queens: Jane, Don't, Kenya, Juicy Love Dion, and Discord. By featuring four queens in the workroom, during their conversation with RuPaul, we're not saying that the other three queens are not important. We're saying that these queens are specifically important because they're big to the trajectory or the arc or the progression of this particular episode. Furthermore, to my earlier point, I absolutely believe that all seven queens were shot going up to RuPaul and talking to her about their garment and their inspiration and any concerns they have. But because of time, we have to focus on the most dramatic stories, and not overburden, because we only have so much time to put all this juicy information. So going down the list, Jane Don't. She is so plucked that Sierra Miss left her scraps, literal scraps, and she's freaking out about how she's going to make it work, which is totally understandable. I don't care how, experienced someone is, sometimes they get thrown in for a loop. But I have to say, Jane won the episode. Not only did she win, her garment was winning. It was beautiful. I gasped when I saw it on the runway because she made it work. Like Jane don't give up. She made it work, and I was really proud of her for that. All right, Kenya is our comeback queen. She's going into this design challenge with confidence and really listening to what Rue has to say. Kenya, like I gotta say, she really impressed me and of course the judges because for her to be on the bottom twice for two previous design challenges, only to end up in the top two for lip sync of the win. This is Kenya's second week in a row being in the top. She has really turned her fortunes around, and I think that it's finally sinking into the judges that despite her past struggles, Kenya might actually have a shot at the finale, or at least close to it. Oh my goodness. You know how I am. At least one domination episode, no matter how far you go, or at least touch the hem of the finale, show the fandom, show the world that you are competition material. So to see Kenya just come back is really, really beautiful. And I love that. I loved her garment. I loved it. It looked great on her. Kenya knows exactly how to cut things. And she knows how to sew, by the way, which is like gaggy. Like, what happened the first two times? I don't know. Kenya also shows me that the adage that you are being a great drag queen is not the same thing as being great at drag race is so true because Kenya is also another one who has is very multi talented. Truly. If you know out in the world she's amazing, but on the show it's sometimes her strengths don't always come through. So okay, Juicy Love Dion has proven that she can stand on her own. Not only did she send her own drag grandmother packing last week, but allegedly she didn't have a whole lot of help as far as sewing her garment, constructing it. I heard she had some assistance per Jane Don't, but nothing significant. Wow. And honestly, like Juicy has been such a sweetheart this whole season, but when she threw Discord underneath the bus and exposed that the bobby pins were not a part of her original package, I gasped. I was like, oh God, she might be young, but she's ready. Okay, Discord story of this episode is don't let others dim your light, and especially in the face of other people's hate and throwing you underneath the bus. Because I said this at the top of the episode that Discord has a great attitude, especially when you're not favored by the girls or production, because those two things can really dig at you when you realize you're not the favorite. Ask me how I know. Discord's attitude is be yourself, have fun, and do your best. Like I loved it, and even I watched Untucked, and Iman's whole thing was like your exit needs to be as grand as your entrance. Like don't let people dim your light. And I felt like they could have focused on Discord a little bit more. I noticed the shots, the reaction shots were of Jane, and I just don't feel like Jane is who she should have been talking to in Storyland. It should have been Discord because listen, Discord has never been on the bottom. As I think she should have called out when all the girls said that she should go home because first of all, I thought that was BS. I really did. Discord has never been on the bottom. She's either been high safe or just safe. She's doing very well this competition. Now, as far as the bobby pins like holding stuff together, maybe I have a hard time believing that Discord would have ever been disqualified and went home because somebody from production probably would have said something. Um, yeah, I didn't appreciate it. I too have noticed some weird energy between plain Jane Don't, Mikey, and Discord. Like there's just the way that they talk to her is a little weird, and I think that people like, especially Jane Don't, are shady or give negative energy to queens because they're not happy with themselves, but they also give that energy to people they know aren't going to rip their heads off. Jane Don't would never do that shit to a Candy Muse or to Misha Iman. It would never happen. And to see Discord in the workroom during Untucked be like, well, I just, that's how you guys feel. I don't know what to say about that. And she didn't let them bitches know that half of y'all have been on the bottom. And so therefore you should be going home over me. I'm sorry, I would have had to clap back. Now clapping back does not always mean being angry or confrontational if that's not who you are. But you can let these bitches know. And I think that that would have been a ripe opportunity for Discord to remind these bitches of their track records. I absolutely lived when all of the judges were living for Discord's runway and the girls could not take it. They were giving her shade, they were looking at her crazy. It was mwah, great television. But I hope that Discord does not let this dim her light. I hope that she keeps believing in herself, kind of like how Susie 2 did last year. Because as someone who's experienced this a lot myself, just because someone doesn't see it for you doesn't mean that you don't belong there. Okay, so speaking of the top two, we've got Jane Don't, no surprise there, and Kenya, who I was deeply, deeply, deeply pleased. I love how, we start the episode with Kenya with her inner dialogue, her inner monologue rather, how is she feeling, only to kill it. I really hope she does well in the roast. Oof, Lord have mercy, Jesus. It's getting down to the wire. Next week we're gonna have a top six. So, yeah, I wonder what they're going to do for the finale, considering we're only on episode 10. Like, how many episodes does Drag Race get usually? Like 14, 16? So, Jane Don't, who I think is a good lip syncer, but I didn't know if she could hold her own energetically against Kenya, absolutely bodied it. She was giving face, she was emotionally connected to the music. And, Kenya's Kenya, she's fun to watch, but I still don't think that she was as connected as Jane was. So, congratulations, Miss Jane Don't, for your, I guess is what, third win? Congrats. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye bye.